While Washington was busy delaying the one crypto bill everyone's been watching, the XRP Ledger did something almost nobody is talking about. 2 days ago, it shipped an upgrade. Quietly. No vote in Congress needed. No permission from anyone. And here's the part that stops me. A billionaire who doesn't even own XRP just admitted, on camera, that if regulation clears, XRP rallies. But he missed the bigger story. XRP isn't sitting around waiting for Washington's permission. Its network just shipped the exact tools that big institutions have been asking for years. Privacy, atomic settlement, enterprise controls. No hype, no price fantasy, no fake screenshots. Just what actually landed this week. The one honest catch nobody else will tell you about, and why the quietest XRP news of the year might be the most important. Stay with me. Real quick, from the heart. None of this is financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. I can't predict price, Congress, or anything else, and nobody can. Everything here is my opinion, a scenario, never a promise. So protect your family first, do your own research, and never let anyone rush your decisions, me included, okay? Let's get into it. Let me paint the full picture for you, because the timing on this is almost poetic. All week, the entire crypto world has had its eyes locked on one place, Washington. The Clarity Act, the big crypto rules bill, just got pushed to September. Delayed. Again. And the mood across the market has been heavy, like everything is on pause, waiting for a room full of senators to decide our future. And then, on August 6th, while everyone was staring at that room, something happened somewhere else entirely. The developers of the XRP Ledger released a new version of the network's software, version 3.3.0. No press conference, no senator's signature, no permission slip from anyone, just code, shipped, out into the world. And here's why that contrast matters so much. One side of this story, the political side, is stuck, blocked, waiting on votes it doesn't have yet. The other side, the technology side, just moved forward on its own. That's the thing people forget about this space. A network doesn't need a law to pass before it can get better. It can just build. Now, what's actually inside this release is where it gets interesting, because these aren't flashy consumer features designed to pump a chart. They're the opposite. They're quiet, technical, institutional plumbing. The kind of thing a bank's back office cares about far more than a day trader ever would. And that's exactly why I think this is being underrated right now. The features that move the biggest money are almost never the exciting ones. They're the boring ones. The ones that make a giant institution finally feel safe enough to press go. But before I show you what landed, I have to give you the honest catch. Because there's one detail almost every other channel is getting wrong tonight, and I refuse to be one of them. Let me explain. Here's where I have to slow down and be straight with you, because your trust matters more to me than a dramatic headline. A lot of videos and posts this week are screaming that the XRP Ledger now has privacy, now has batch payments, now has all these powerful new tools live and running. And that is not quite true. I want you to understand exactly why. On the XRP Ledger, new features don't just switch on the moment the software is released. The release is more like putting the proposal on the table. After that, the network's validators, the independent computers that actually run and secure the ledger, have to vote. And not a simple majority. An amendment needs at least 80% support from trusted validators, held steady for 2 full weeks before it activates on the main network. So when someone tells you these features are already live tonight, they're skipping a step. What actually happened is that the code shipped, and the clock on that validator vote is now ticking. It's a real, meaningful step forward, but it is a step, not a finish line. And honestly, I think that process is a feature, not a flaw. Think about what it means. No single company, not even Ripple, gets to flip these switches alone. The network itself decides. For an asset that spent years fighting to prove it isn't controlled by one entity, that kind of decentralized gatekeeping is exactly the reassurance a cautious institution wants to see. So let me put the question straight to you and answer it honestly in your head before the comments. If a feature still needs 80% of a network to independently approve it before it goes live? Yes or no? Does that make you trust it more or less than a company just flipping a switch whenever it wants? Just yes or no? Sit with your answer. Because once you understand what these specific features actually do, I think you'll see why serious money has been quietly waiting for exactly this. Okay, let's translate the technical stuff into plain human language, because this is where it clicks. There are a few headline features in this release, and I'll give you the 3 that matter most. The first is called confidential transfers. In simple terms, it lets certain tokens move on the ledger with the amounts hidden, encrypted, while still letting the right authorized parties, like an auditor or a regulator, verify what they need to. Now ask yourself, why does that matter? Picture a major bank. Would it ever put its transactions on a public ledger where every competitor on Earth could see exactly how much it's moving and when? Never. Privacy isn't a nice-to-have for institutions. It's a requirement. This is the ledger's first native privacy feature, and it directly removes one of the biggest reasons big players hesitated. The second is batch. This one lets you bundle up to 8 transactions together, so they either all succeed or all fail as one unit. That sounds small until you're a financial institution moving money through multiple steps and hops. Today, if one step in a complex payment fails halfway through, you get a mess. Money stuck in the middle, expensive reconciliation, headaches. With this, it's all or nothing. Clean. That unlocks things like trustless swaps and more sophisticated settlement, the kind of workflows professional trading desks actually use. The third is permission delegation. This lets an institution give a specific wallet limited permission to do specific things without handing over full control of the account. In practice, that means a company can keep its main treasury locked away safely in cold storage, while still letting day-to-day operations run. That's basic, essential security hygiene for anyone managing serious money. Do you see the through line here? Privacy, reliability, controlled access. Not one of these is designed to excite a gambler. Every single one is designed to make an institution feel safe. This is a network quietly dressing itself up for the boardroom, not the casino. And that quiet, unglamorous, institution-first direction, that's the whole thesis. Hold on to it, because it's exactly what even the skeptics are starting to admit. Now here's the part I really wanted to share with you, because it's rare and it's important. There's a well-known voice in finance named Anthony Scaramucci. He runs an investment firm called Skybridge Capital. He's a familiar face on the interview circuit, and he is absolutely not an XRP cheerleader. And that is exactly why what he said carries weight. In a recent interview, Scaramucci was asked about crypto regulation and where different assets are headed. And in his own words, he said that if the Clarity Act passes, you'll see a rally in Ripple, a rally in XRP. He grouped XRP and Solana together as the assets that would benefit most from regulation finally arriving, while he sees Bitcoin and Ethereum walking their own separate paths, regardless of what the government does. Now think about who's saying this. By his own account, Scaramucci owns Ethereum. He owns Solana. He has never really talked about owning XRP. This is not a man talking up his own bag. This is a self-described skeptic on altcoins, looking at the landscape and admitting, plainly, that Clarity would light a fire under XRP specifically. But I want to be completely fair to him, because honesty runs both ways on this channel. Scaramucci is also not optimistic that Clarity passes easily. He's openly doubtful it can get the 60 Senate votes it needs, and he's warned it could even be delayed for years. He thinks this bill matters far more for altcoins like XRP than it does for Bitcoin, which already has its regulated products and its store of value story locked in. So here's the honest picture from a skeptic's mouth. XRP has the most to gain from Clarity, and Clarity is genuinely hard to get. Both of those things are true at once. But here's where I think Scaramucci, and honestly, most of the market, is missing something. His entire framing assumes XRP's future is chained to a Senate vote. And what did we just spend this whole video establishing? That the ledger doesn't wait for Washington. While the skeptics debate whether the law arrives this year or in 3 years, The network just shipped institutional privacy and settlement tools on its own timeline. The law would be an accelerant, but the building is already happening without it. And that, to me, is the most bullish reframe of all. What happens to the story the day the thing everyone's waiting for finally does show up? Let's bring it all home, calmly and honestly. Here's the real state of things tonight, no spin. A major upgrade just shipped to the XRP Ledger, packed with the exact institutional features, privacy, reliable settlement, controlled access that serious money has been asking for. But those features aren't live yet. They're in the hands of the validators now, who need to approve them over the coming weeks. It could go smoothly. It could hit snags. Some of these features were actually pulled once before over a bug and rebuilt. I'll tell you honestly if that happens, rather than pretend the road is perfectly smooth. And here's what's real on the other side of the picture. XRP already has its commodity classification from earlier this year. Spot XRP funds are already trading. The Clarity Act, if and when it clears the Senate, would lock in permanence and pour fuel on all of it. Even a skeptic like Scaramucci admits that. And underneath all of it, the ledger just proved it keeps improving on its own. No permission required. So what do you actually do with all this? Nothing reckless. Please. Don't bet the roof over your head chasing anyone's timeline, mine included. Don't let a headline, good or bad, rush a decision that's yours to make slowly. Instead, just notice the pattern. The loud stuff, the votes, the price targets, the fake screenshots, all of that grabs the attention. But the quiet stuff, a network calmly shipping the tools that institutions need while nobody's watching, that's the stuff that tends to matter most in the rearview mirror. The infrastructure is being laid right now, in the boring weeks, while the crowd stares at Washington. And the people who understand that the building doesn't stop for a Senate calendar are the ones who tend to be positioned before everyone else notices. That's not hype. That's just watching what's actually being built instead of what's being shouted. This has been Crypto with BHW. We're early. The foundation is being poured, and I'll see you in the very next one.